Modern AAA games suck. Looking at the PS5 and Series X lineup, everything is either a remake, a half-baked live service mess, or some bloated, soulless, open-world game with a 5-year roadmap that dies in a year. But gaming is also better than it's ever been, because of indie developers that are absolutely killing it. These smaller studios are making some of the best games of all time, and that's not an exaggeration. But what makes these indie games so successful? What makes them stand out in a sea of generic corporate garbage? The answer is simple. To understand how inspiration shapes a game, let's look at one of the best examples, Hollow Knight. This game is an absolute masterclass in atmosphere, level design, and combat. You could call it a Metroidvania, but that barely does it justice. The inspirations behind Hollow Knight run deep, taking cues from Metroid for its exploration, Dark Souls for its cryptic lore and challenge, and, oddly enough, the second Legend of Zelda for its side-scrolling combat. However, simply being inspired isn't enough. What makes Hollow Knight so special isn't just its influences, it's what Team Cherry did with them. Instead of just copying, they innovated. They crafted a world that feels alive, a game that respects the player's intelligence, and combat that is as smooth as butter. Every aspect of Hollow Knight oozes with passion, and that's why it resonates with so many players and why it resonated with me. While Hollow Knight draws inspiration from classic games, others take a different approach, drawing from emotions and experiences instead. A perfect example of this is a little game called A Short Hike. This game achieves great atmosphere and emotional storytelling through an incredibly powerful yet simple lens, that of childhood. Emotions are a powerful thing, and even more so when you're discovering them for the first time. That's why coming-of-age films are so impactful. A Short Hike capitalizes on this and tells the story of a scared, anxious girl going to summer camp and, quote-unquote, and quite literally, spreading her wings. The game takes inspiration from an emotion that works so well. Because the dialogue, map design, and movement are so simple, they allow for so much expression. The big flight at the end of the game is one of the most fun and freeing moments I have ever experienced in a video game. Besides just the visuals, the soundtrack and dialogue add to the power of this game's story, which, again, is great because it draws from a deeply human experience and emotion. Now that we've gone over two different examples of inspiration, previous media, or emotions, what happens when a game pulls from both? You get my personal favorite game of all time. Undertale is my favorite game of all time, and in my personal opinion, the best game of all time. This game is an absolute masterpiece with some of the best storytelling, some of the best music, and some of the best player choice mechanics I have ever seen. Calling it just an RPG barely scratches the surface of what this game is: inspired art. Undertale wears its inspirations on its sleeve too, drawing from Earthbound for its quirky dialogue and surreal world, Shin Megami Tensei for its morality-driven choices, and classic bullet hell games for its incredibly unique combat system. But what makes Undertale truly special isn't just what it borrows, it's how Toby Fox reimagines these ideas to create something entirely unique. Every battle is an interaction, every character feels alive, and every piece of music is masterfully crafted and woven into the scene to hit you right in the soul. What's even crazier is the inspiration for Undertale. Toby Fox, the developer, had a dream so impactful to him about the ending of a video game, he felt compelled to make it. He spent hours and hours working and produced Undertale as practice. We haven't even seen his dream game yet. He just made this as a smaller project to test the waters, and despite that, the passion and inspiration poured into it made it into a generation-defining game. It's proof that when a game is built with heart rather than corporate algorithms or just lofty goals, it becomes something timeless. But onto our issue, if Indie games are thriving on inspiration. Why do AAA games feel like they've lost their spark? They used to have it, and we used to see these incredible titles, but they've fallen so far from grace. And unfortunately, the answer is also simple. It's greed and fear. These companies have all the money in the world, yet they play it safer and safer every year. Instead of innovation, we get remakes and sequels and soulless live service garbage. Every new Call of Duty and Madden is just a slightly shinier version of the last, and even that is arguable. Every Ubisoft open world game feels exactly the same. And don't even get me started on the disasters that were Anthem, Concord, Battlefield 2042, Redfall, Suicide Squad, Skull and Bones, Halo Infinite, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the list goes on. The problem is clear. These companies don't care about making great games. They care about keeping you addicted and milking every last penny out of you. Meanwhile, indie devs with a fraction of the budget are making games that actually push the medium forward. They aren't just making games, they're making art, telling stories, and creating experiences that actually mean something. At the end of the day, inspiration is what makes great games. When a developer truly cares about their game, it shows. You can see the love, the effort, and the passion. Indie games are thriving because their creators aren't shackled by corporate greed. They're making art, not just content. And as long as AAA gaming remains the soulless cash grab machine that it is, indie games will continue to be the true heart of gaming. So please support them, play them, and most importantly, don't settle for uninspired trash.